Hello, everyone. Welcome to Wild Child Wellness, where we discuss natural remedies for common childhood symptoms and discuss when to seek medical attention. I am trying to experiment with a way to avoid that glare on my glasses, so I'm trying to do this side profile thing. So, if any of you wondering why is she sitting that way? Why is she looking at me sideways? It's because I can't figure out how to do this without getting that glare from the video on my glasses, and it's really annoying. So, as a reminder, this platform is for informational purposes only and is not a substitute for advice from a trusted medical provider. So, you want to get yourself one of those. And today I'm recording from my own home instead of my mom's sunny yellow kitchen. So the view behind me is not a backdrop or a green screen. It's our big, beautiful backyard here in Pennsylvania. Today we're going to talk about allergy cough. I was just going to talk about cough in general, but it's a huge topic and it'll be a really long video. So I'm going to break it up into 3 videos. And today I'm just going to focus on allergies. Before that, as a reminder, on Friday, February 23rd, I'll be at Charmed Eclectic Healing in Belmore on Long Island talking about vaccine detox options. You can call Lori at Charmed for tickets, or you can reach out to me by phone or email, and I'll leave that information in another post. The tickets are $25, so hope to see y'all there. Anyway, today, back to our topic, we're talking about allergy cough. The key to cough is knowing the cause, and in either it comes from a drip from like a runny nose, or it comes from deep within the chest. And knowing the cause can help you remedy it. It helps you know what remedies are going to work and what you need to do for it. So today, I'm just going to talk about the allergies, and most of the time, the allergies start with this drippy, runny nose. If allergies get really bad, they can progress to bronchoconstriction or reactive airway, but we will take that one step at a time. Now, the biggest difference to know you're dealing with allergies is the lack of fever. So your symptoms can be very similar to a cold, and you might be thinking, well, I feel like I have a cold, but there's no fever. Then you might be dealing with allergies. Now, some of you might be saying, why is she talking about allergies in the middle of winter? Cold viruses would be a much more appropriate topic in the middle of cold and flu season. Well, surprising to a lot of people, dust allergies peak in the winter, and it's something that a lot of people aren't aware of. So they're wondering why they can't get their cough under control, or why they have had this cold virus for 2 or 3 weeks. They don't realize they're dealing with something else. So that's why I wanted to talk about it today. So dust allergies peak in the winter. Not a lot of people realize it. Why is that? Well, because all year long, dust is building up on your air vents, and then you turn your heat on, and if you haven't replaced the air filter or cleaned the vents before you do that, you're just blasting a ton of dust into your home environment. And because in addition to that, the home is usually locked up pretty tight in the winter because we're trying to keep our homes heated, keep them warm. So we don't have the open windows and that nice airflow like we have during warmer weather. So the combination of that dust being blasted into the air from those dusty heat vents, and then just building and building because it's not going anywhere, the dust levels can get really high and can trigger allergy symptoms in a lot of people and make you uncomfortable because it has nowhere to go. So that means that if you're dealing with wet and drippy symptoms for more than 2 weeks, no fever, and it's positional, meaning it's worse when you lay down, it's better when you're sitting upright, or the symptoms are worse at night and better during the day, then you're dealing with something that you can handle at home, just the drippy, runny nose cough from the allergies. So how can we remedy that? Well, the first step obviously would be cleaning your heat vents and replacing or cleaning your air filters before you turn your heat on. And if you can remember to do that, you will be much better off, but it also means you're a far more organized person than me, because I usually forget to do that until after it's too late. So the second step would be getting an air purifier. You can get an air purifier at Lowe's or Home Depot, some of them you can get are pretty affordable. Some of them are very expensive, but you can get a good one for just under $100, and it's worth every penny. If you only have one air purifier and you want to maximize its usage, the best place to put it is in the bedroom, because there's been studies that have shown that the quality of the air you breathe while you're sleeping at night can actually improve your health and symptoms for the whole rest of the day, better than if you just use the air purifier during the day and breathe that dirty, dusty air all night long. We're not quite sure exactly why that is. My own personal theory is it has to do with how our immune system is more active at night. So the air we're breathing at night is going to affect that more throughout the whole rest of the day. So that's an important point. Put the air purifier in the bedroom. If you have more than one air purifier, then put it wherever you need it, but that's the most important spot. Okay, so now let's get into some natural allergy remedies. There's homeopathic remedies and there's herbal remedies. Some good homeopathic remedies are for allergies are starting with pulsatilla. Pulsatilla is probably the number one when you look at resources for homeopathic allergy remedies or you buy combos. They almost always have pulsatilla in it. It's a very well-known, well-regarded homeopathic remedy for that drippy nose, that runny nose, and congestion for allergies. Sinus is also a good homeopathic remedy, and that is more for the sinus congestion. So those are two really good homeopathic remedies for allergies. There's also another really good one called histaminium, and that's very good for runny nose and congestion. In fact, the histaminium and the sinus are so well known that you can even get it at like CVS. The pulsatilla, a little harder to find unless you're looking for combo products, but it's in just about every allergy natural combination product you would get. And of course, don't forget the old, sometimes simplest is best. Just a saline nose spray or saline in a nebulizer will help flush those dust pollens and clean them out of your upper respiratory tract before they can get deep into your system and make you sick. So sometimes just simple saline nose spray or a saline nebulizer treatment. And of course, as I've discussed in other posts, saline is just salt water, and you can get it at a pharmacy. It's just sterile salt water, and that can help tremendously. Getting into some combination products, Nenninger's Triple Allergy Defense is a really good allergy remedy that you can get online or you can get it at a natural remedy store, and it's a combination of different homeopathic allergy ingredients. Another really good combo product is D-Hist Junior or D-Hist, and that's an herbal allergy remedy product. It's a combination of stinging nettle, which, as I had discussed before, it's an herbal, or I didn't mention it before. I'll mention it now. So stinging nettle is an herbal allergy product. It's a natural antihistamine, and it's a plant, and you can buy it as a tea from natural remedy stores and make a hot cup of tea out of it, or you can make a tincture out of it. The DHIS has stinging nettle in it in addition to bromelain, bromelain is a chemical that's an extract from pineapples. It's really good for chest congestion. You can also make your own homemade cough syrup, a natural cough syrup, if you take about a cup of honey and put it on the stove to simmer at a low heat, add a half a cup of pineapple juice, and then add a tablespoon of cherry bark, which is also a very good herbal cough remedy. It's an antispasmodic, so it helps relax the spasms that cause the cough. And thyme, just like what's probably in your kitchen cupboard, it's a cooking herb, but it's also a really good natural anti-inflammatory. So adding a tablespoon of each of those, simmering it on the stove on low heat for about 15-20 minutes, and then strain it and put it into a bottle or a jar and keep it on hand as a natural homemade cough syrup. And I'll put the recipe, I'll post the recipe in writings if you want to try it out. So now you've been dealing with these allergy symptoms for a couple of days and it's not really getting any better. And then all of a sudden you feel like it's gotten worse. The cough has gotten really bad. It's no longer positional. You are coughing forcefully and frequently, and you're coughing constantly. And it doesn't matter whether you're laying down or sitting up or hanging upside down. You are just coughing constantly. That's the red flag symptom that can tell you you're starting to develop that bronchial constriction. So that inflammation from the allergies is starting to spread into the lungs. And this can be very serious. And you would, at this point, you would need to seek medical attention because it needs to be resolved quickly. Because when your lungs are tight like that and constricted, you're not oxygenating well, you're not getting the oxygen to your blood, and it can make you really sick. So that's one of those things that there really aren't any good natural remedies. This is when you would need to seek medical attention. So, and when you go for a medical appointment, there's two different kinds of medications the doctor's probably going to recommend or prescribe for you. One of them would be a bronchodilator, and the most commonly known bronchodilator is albuterol. Now, albuterol is chemically related to caffeine, so the side effects can make you feel a little jittery, especially if you're sensitive to caffeine. And if you look in some resources for natural remedies for bronchoconstriction or reactive airway, sometimes they'll list coffee or black tea, but really that's just because it's the caffeine that's the active ingredient. And although that may help, it's very hard to dose caffeine from coffee or tea. And if you take too much caffeine, it can cause you to have an increased heart rate and other symptoms. So in this situation, it's really best and really safest to use the albuterol to help open up the lungs. Another medication they'll prescribe is an anti-inflammatory, and that would be known as what's called steroids. And steroids work by decreasing the inflammation in the lungs, bringing that inflammation down so your lungs can open up and relax. So then the albuterol can open up and dilate the bronchioles. Now, it is worth mentioning chiropractic adjustments because those can be tremendously effective to catch bronchoconstriction. If you catch it early, if it's very early in the process, you're starting to feel tight in your chest, and you can get in with a chiropractor, then a couple of chiropractic adjustments can sometimes help turn that around and open up those lungs naturally. And if you are someone who has asthma, then getting regular chiropractic adjustments can help decrease the amount of medication you may need to keep your asthma under control. I know with my personal experience, I like to talk about my personal experiences when it comes to this stuff. My son developed asthma when he was a year old, and by the time he was 2, he was on 3 different medications every day for his asthma. I had a lot of people recommend I look into chiropractic adjustments, so I decided to try that because I thought, well, if it can decrease him down to 1 medication instead of 3, then it would be worth it as long as it's safe. And I did my research and found that it is very safe, especially if you go to a pediatric certified chiropractor or somebody who's very experienced working with children. And I was pleasantly shocked and surprised to find that after just a couple of weeks, he was down to 1 medication. And after 3 months, he was off all of his asthma medications. And that just amazed me, especially since he played ice hockey at the time, which is like the worst sport for asthma because you're breathing cold air fast, which is a big trigger. So that really opened my eyes to how much chiropractic adjustments can help with bronchoconstriction, reactive airway disease, or asthma. So anyway, in closing, I think that's enough for today. Next week, I'll cover cough from cold viruses and infections. I'll post pictures of the products that I discussed in another post until I learn how to edit videos so that I can insert the pictures into the video as I'm talking about it. I have a 9-year-old friend trying to teach me how to do it, but it's really hard to teach an old dog new tricks. 1 step at a time. Anyway, stay healthy, get outside, and remember, there's no bad weather, just underdressed people. So get out there. It's going to be a beautiful day, no matter what kind of day it is. Take care.